5 o'clock on the dot this Monday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Temperatures easily in the upper 90s, even flirting with triple digits all week long, not to mention what it's going to do to the feels-like temperatures. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, News 2 says Nashville Democrat State Rep Justin Jones made an appearance yesterday at the state capitol where parents rallied for more gun control to be included in that special session on public safety that convenes today.
I'm hopeful that the people are going to bring change. I know that the governor had called this session, but we see how restrictive the call is in terms of the proclamation that was issued. Many of the bills that the people here are demanding, we could not even introduce because they were denied, because they were not fitting within the parameters of the call.
Yeah, there'll be increased law enforcement around the state capitol, although authorities say they expect any protests to stay peaceful. That special session convenes at 4. There's a salmonella outbreak affecting Tennessee, Kentucky, and 9 other states, and they're linked to pet turtles, according to the CDC. As of Friday, 26 people across 11 states have reportedly been infected. Tennessee has the most with 6. Kentucky has 1. Overall, 9 people have been hospitalized from this salmonella outbreak the CDC says is linked to pet turtles. Well, we're waiting to see what comes from a bizarre case in Cheatham County over the weekend. Police chased a man wanted out of Ohio who had a dead body in his car. Lance Mason Miller was taken into custody and a woman found dead in the vehicle's front seat. Right now in Southern California, people dealing with rain from a rare tropical storm and an earthquake. 5.1 magnitude in Ventura County.
I was trying to nap, and it felt like a Vaughn's delivery truck smashed in the side of my building. Yeah, so it was intense.
No injuries or major damage reported so far. Also, the war on Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky thanking Denmark and the Netherlands for more air power to take on Russia.
Ukraine is moving from javelins and stingers to Patriots and F-16s. F-16s. Thank you very much.
They're to be delivered by the end of the year. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. Here's Daria Albinger.
Major indexes ended lower for the third straight day. Investors reacting to the minutes from the latest Federal Reserve policy meeting, which show committee members remain focused on reining in inflation but are also unsure of their next moves. The Dow fell 291 points. The S&P dropped 34. The Nasdaq shed 158, or more than 1%. Apple alone fell 1.6%, with Meta and Tesla dropping more than 2% each. A rise in bond yields is forcing a reassessment of how much to pay for stocks. Walmart posted a strong second quarter sales result. Mortgage rates on a 30-year loan are now above 7%, reaching their highest level in more than 2 decades. 27 Boston market restaurants have been temporarily closed in New Jersey. State labor officials say $600,000 in back wages are owed to over 300 employees. More than 1.5 million dehumidifiers being recalled. Reports of nearly 24 fires.
Right now, futures are up ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street. Dow futures are up 129. S&P's up 21. NASDAQ is up at 93. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and play you the correct business minute, the Wall Street Now business minute, because that was not the one for today. That was actually the one for last Friday. So let's check in with Brian Clark and get the right money news here.
From ABC News, Wall Street Weekend. The future presses pause in San Francisco, where General Motors' Cruise autonomous vehicle unit is going to cut in half the fleet of robo-taxis in San Francisco to the request of the State Department of Motor Vehicles, which is investigating a crash between a driverless Cruise and an emergency vehicle Thursday. The DMV says Cruise will have no more than 50 vehicles in operation during the day and 150 at night. As Cruise continues searching for victims of the deadly fires on Maui, Hawaii's governor is telling visitors the rest of the island is open. It underscores the importance of tourism. The Maui Economic Development Board says about 70% of every dollar generated on Maui can be attributed to tourism. And Nissan's recalling more than 236,000 of its Sentra compact cars. It's because parts of the front suspension could bend and break affected vehicles from the 2020 through 2022 model years. Brian Clark, ABC News.
And once again, Dow futures up ahead of this morning's open on Wall Street. Dow futures up 130. S&P futures up 21. NASDAQ futures are up 93. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
5:08 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends, along with Ken Weaver, Johnny B, Dan Mandis here. How are you? Well, it is special session Monday here across Middle Tennessee, and there is a lot, of course, going on. We all know the governor has been asking for red flag type laws or order of protection ideas, and Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson and, of course, Cameron Sexton as well, both have said no. That is not going to happen. Now, one of the things that I want you to look for today, there's going to be a lot of things, and Ken Weaver's on it as well. We've got, of course, Chris Hand, live and local at 9, Matt Murphy, live and local at 12, and Brian Wilson, live and local at 3 here on WTN. So we will be covering the festivities, if you will, all day long here on WTN. So there's going to be a number of things that you need to watch for. Number one, please understand that even though the media and even though the activists are going to sit here and tell you, oh, the Republicans, they want to do nothing. They want children to die. You know that's actually not the case, right? I mean, as we have been telling you here on WTN for a long time now, there's a number of things that the Republicans are bringing to the table and that Governor Lee is bringing to the table as well that they want to see happen in this special session. And so there is what I would say an abundance of solutions, of nuts and bolts solutions that they're going to be discussing here in the next day or 2 or 3, depending on how long this special session goes. So while all of these, quite frankly, these activists are going to be causing all kinds of issues outside, and you're going to have the fraud squad inside, probably also causing all kind of havoc, the Republicans are actually bringing ideas to the table. And so whether it is Cameron Sexton, whether it is Jack Johnson, or any of the other folks that are in the Republican Party here in the state of Tennessee, they are going to be bringing things to the floor that could help to prevent what happened in Covenant. You won't hear about it. For example, State Rep Chris Todd, he is out there. He wants to broaden the duties of mental health professionals to report communicated threats made by patients. All right, so that's one thing that is again, I'm going to keep going back to this. I'm going to keep going back to this saying nuts and bolts things that the Republicans can do to help with the situation and prevent Covenant from happening again. Now, a lot of these things, I wouldn't say that they're sexy by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it's a lot easier, and I would say this about the activists out there, it's a lot easier to make your signs. It's a lot easier to, come up with your little chants and everything outside. It's a lot harder to actually come up with nuts and bolts solutions. And so when Chris Todd, he is out there saying he wants to broaden the duties of mental health professionals to report communicated threats made by patients. So if you're a psychiatrist or a psychologist or what have you, and you've got somebody in your office and they're talking about doing something reprehensible, well, then guess what? That person under Tennessee law, if passed, will be forced to, notify the authorities. Now, whether or not that's the right thing to do or not is, up to the beholder. If you have the opinion that this will actually force more people underground and they won't look for the help that they need because they know that they'll then be turned in by the psychologist or the psychiatrist or whatever, that is a valid opinion. But it is also a valid opinion to say, you know what? If a psychiatrist hears some kind of a threat, they need to say something to somebody. But it's a worthwhile debate to have. Will the actual debate be had, and will anybody hear that worthwhile debate? Well, all of these chants are going on outside and perhaps inside as well. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. What about the data used for background checks, where the court system data, they're looking to tackle this as well. The court data that is going into the background checks. You've got the court system data that is not making it to the background check system. We all know about the TBI. The TBI reports, and we covered this for you a few months ago. The TBI is reporting that here in the state of Tennessee, we're struggling to meet the governor's 72-hour time frame for the various agencies to report new criminal activity to the Tennessee Instant Check system. That is something that Cameron Sexton wants to look into. So why is there such a massive delay? This is, again, a nuts and bolts thing that we can do to prevent Covenant from happening again. Making sure that the data gets from the court system to the Tennessee Instant Check system within a reasonable amount of time. The governor wants to go 72 hours. We've been talking about how state lawmakers like Scott Sapicki wants to introduce legislation to require SROs in all schools, including elementary schools. Now, I believe that there are those who worry about, quote unquote, militarizing our schools, like Adrian Battle, of course, with Metro Schools. But, this is something that they worry about. I think it is an absolutely asinine way to look at SROs, but there are some people that believe that that is a legit opinion. I think most people, and Cameron Sexton said something on this show the last time he was on a few weeks ago. He said, some of these people on the left, they have absolutely no idea how far out of the mainstream they really are with your average Tennessean. Because my question would be, is there anybody who is even a moderate Democrat who would look at an SRO in school and say, oh, that's militarizing our schools? Because if so, you are on the wrong side of common sense. There is a story, and it is a great story, about SROs in schools, and I've got it for you straight ahead. And it's going to prove exactly how wrong these folks are. It is going to tell you exactly how wrong people like Adrian Battle are when they say that SROs in schools is militarizing our elementary schools, our middle schools, and our high schools as well. Wait till you hear this story. It is all straight ahead. 5:15. Time to check the roads from the Paul Winkler Investment WTN Traffic Center. Thank you very much. 5:15 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Today, sunny and hot. I have 95 right now, 73 at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So there's a great story. And you know what? I would like to dedicate this story to Adrian Battle with Metro Schools. The headline from Sumner County SRO saves a child's life at Millersville Elementary School. Did you see this? It happened on, I think it was either Friday or reported on Saturday, happened on Friday. Not really sure. But it happened late last week where a school resource officer in Sumner County is being hailed a hero after saving a kindergartner's life on Thursday. The kid was choking. And this SRO saved the child's life, jumping into action and gave the kid the Heimlich maneuver, did whatever she had to do to save this child's life. She says, my initial thought was that he was just gagging as if he was going to be sick, but I looked again and thought something's not right. So that's when the mother got the SRO, the officer Stephanie, explained to teacher's assistant Jennifer Johnson. And so the TA notices the kid is choking, gets the SRO, and the SRO does what she does, and she saves the kid. They say Deputy Stephanie Reber, a member of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office who serves as the SRO for Millersville and Elementary, said she was doing her normal duties in the cafeteria, monitoring the kids and making sure everyone was safe, when the TA, the teacher's assistant Johnson, ran up and said that she thought that the boy was choking. His face is changing colors. And so they jump into action. They jump into action. They help the kid. They, I guess, perform the Heimlich maneuver. Yes, they did, and save the child's life. And so I would ask, some of these folks who think that SROs and SROs in schools are militarizing our schools. I would ask them what they think about that particular story. Because let's face it, that SRO, who is apparently the source of all evil for people like Adrian Battle, saved that kid's life. That's not militarizing schools. That is saving the child's life. And by the way, I absolutely love the picture because there is a picture of the SRO and she is high-fiving the kid. And it's a great, great story about how this SRO saved this child's life. And I would say this, do you know how many lives will be saved if we have SROs in schools? Like, for example, Scott Sapicki and some of these other folks are trying to do, because we're talking about the special session today with, all these folks that are going to be out there protesting. Meantime, it is the Republicans who are saying, you know what we're going to do, nuts and bolts things to save lives. Has nothing to do with red flag, but it will, and these ideas will ultimately save lives. And Scott Sapicki, again, is one who wants to require or mandate that we have SROs in schools, especially elementary schools. That is an absolutely brilliant idea. And how sad is it? Because if it was up to Adrian Battle and if it was up to some of these folks who are anti-police and say that SROs in our schools are militarizing the schools, there would be a kindergartner who would not be with us today if it were up to the Democrats, if it were up to the progressives. So while you're going to have the fraud squad and you're going to have all these people that are out there at the outside of the state capitol and they're going to be screaming about all of these things, I want you to think about this SRO in Sumner County who saved this kindergartner's life by utilizing the Heimlich maneuver. This is the kind of thing that the Republicans want to do. Actually save lives. It is 5:21 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Window Nation. Well, 95 degrees, brutally hot here in Middle Tennessee today, and your energy bills are going to be sky high. Well, you can do something about it. You know that, right? You can call my friends at Window Nation. Now, they can help you keep those energy bills lower with brand new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. It is what I have in my basement studio, and I love them. Now, your house is going to stay cool and comfortable. All the while, you're going to get tremendous savings because right now, Window Nation is offering you a great deal. 50% off of any style window, plus 0 money down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for 2 full years. By the way, you call them, you mention my name, 866-90-Nation, and this week you'll get another 10% off. So remember that great deal, 50% off of any style window, plus 0 money down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for 2 full years. 866-90-NATION is the phone number, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. I've been teaching investing on Nashville airwaves for over 20 years with the Investor Coaching Show. And in that time, I taught a lot about how markets work and how we invest money and academic principles of investing money. But I've also talked an awful lot about how to avoid the mistakes that people often make with their money. Think about it. A lot of people sold out of the market at the worst time when COVID struck, or when TARP happened, the Troubled Asset Relief Program, or gold, they invested in that at the worst time. Bailing out of the market because they were worried about Y2K or 9/11 or jumping into energy stocks or jumping into cryptocurrency. One of the things that I like to do is educate investors because I believe that the more educated you are, The more confident you are, and the more confident you are, the more successful you can be as an investor. Now, I not only do that on our radio show, but we do that in our offices around the Nashville region, 10 offices. To learn more about our approach to investing and financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Special legislative session convenes today. COVID-19 cases in the Metro Nashville Council. Wildfires are blamed for deaths in Washington state, and Ukrainian President Zelensky expressing gratitude for some more hardware to fight Russia. These stories and more at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you say Zelensky's asking for more stuff?
He's getting it. He's getting more stuff, Brother Dan Mandis.
My mood is rapidly deteriorating today, Ken Weaver. This is no way to celebrate National Radio Day, which was yesterday.
Yeah, it's no way to celebrate what is the best morning of the week, and that is Monday.
Boy, not this Monday.
No, sir.
Ken, do you know what happened behind the scenes here in the first segment?
Well,
I don't want to even get into it. I We got to move on.
I can see you boys through the glass, so yeah,
he read lips very well on my.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
so it's more like a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, he kept going. Sorry, Johnny B.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we got to go. It is a 5:20. By the way, all right. So it is. Yesterday was National Radio Day.
Well, this is kind of apropos, actually.
So it really is. I mean, I'm going to tell you the behind the scenes stuff that happened this morning. It just. I don't know what it is about. It's not Monday morning. It's just like we've had a rough couple of days here with, technical stuff.
Well, you think we ought to go home, take a week, and try to start all over?
I would love to, Ken.
Well, let's try it.
No, because then the dead air alarms would go off, and that would make everybody mad.
Rats. One of these days, I'm going to get you on that, Brother Dan. One of these days, I'm going to catch you, and you're going to say, okay, Ken.
Well, I got to go eat. I'll be right back.
As long as you leave a note on the board, Johnny, and tell people that you'll be right back, and
sure.
Then hopefully you will come back.
I'll be back. I'm sorry.
Some people leave a note on the board saying they're going to come back, and then they don't ever do it.
Oh, really?
And then there's like an hour of dead air. Yeah, that's.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try that.
I got to go. 5:29 on Nashville's Morning News on WTN.
5:30 on the dot this Monday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and it's going to get hot. It's summer. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes.